Hi, I'm Denise and I'm the founder and therapist of Infinite Hope Counselling. I've come along today to do a short video on coping with Christmas alone. For those of you that follow my page or my YouTube channel, you'll know that I put a video out last week around coping with complex family dynamics at Christmas time. Just want to say thank you to those of you who've liked it, made comments, asked questions or got in touch. I still have a few spaces left next week for sessions and I'm working between Christmas and New Year. So if you're struggling and any of this video touches a part of you and you think you might need help and support, please feel free to reach out. I'm also going to leave some organisational details at the end of the video for those organisations that will be open over the Christmas period where you can gain help and support instantly. So this is a bit of a difficult topic. When we think of someone spending Christmas alone, many of us will feel quite sad about it. I certainly know I have clients that will open up their homes to people that are going to be alone at Christmas. And I also have clients who will be spending their first Christmas alone out of choice or out of freedom of release of a situation, whether that's their choice or another person's choice. And I also have clients who have loneliness enforced on them, so it's quite difficult really. So I thought I'd separate this out into two camps. If we look at those people that are alone because difficult situations have ended, either because they're estranged or separated from a partner or got out of a domestically abusive relationship, and they feel like it's a Christmas of freedom, still doesn't mean it's going to be an easy day. And I think it's quite challenging to think of the Christmas period. Feels quite daunting when it's just you. You know, we have Christmas Eve, then we have Christmas Day, then we have Boxing Day, then we have New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, and it doesn't sound like many days, but it can feel that way when you're on your own. And I guess I've worked with clients that have left domestic violence situations or are spending their first Christmas alone after estrangement, and they sort of talk about the idea of this freedom, about how they don't mind that there's not a table full of food and loads of people around it, but it means they're safe and they're okay and that they've got a Christmas free of difficult choices, not trying to appease people or feeding into a toxic family dynamic that doesn't suit them or help them emotionally. And for those people, Christmas can be empowering alone. It can mean that they can do it the way they want with no one to answer to or no fear in getting it wrong. But it doesn't mean there might not be parts of that day upon reflection that are difficult because they want connection still, or they feel they're being punished for something they didn't do. So it's kind of challenging in that sense, but it can feel like freedom. And then the other side is if you're spending Christmas alone because you're newly bereaved, or you've ended a relationship, or your family are estranged from you, or you're estranged from them, or you're spending Christmas alone through no choice of your own. And I think that's really difficult, especially if it's the first one. And the day can seem really long and it can seem really challenging. And I read something which I thought was wonderful that said, you know, remember that Christmas Day is Christmas Day, but it's also just another day of the week. You can put as much or little emphasis as you choose on Christmas. You don't have to feed into decorations and presents and narratives that don't belong to you, although you can do that if that feels like it fits you. I also think when we think of spending Christmas alone, it's important to have some strategies. So whether that's because of a choice of spending Christmas alone or whether it's enforced, you could go into the day with a bit of a plan. You know, fill it full of things you like to do, films, distractions, crafts, painting, reading, listening to music, whatever it is, working out. Or you can choose to hide from the day and stay in bed and, you know, don't have to face it. But also you can find connection in other ways. At the end of the video, I will provide you with some helplines that will be open Christmas Day to support you if you need to reach out and have connection with someone else. But there are other ways to connect with people. There's Facebook, there's WhatsApp. We're quite lucky that we're in a virtual society now that lets us connect with other people. But I also understand how that can be quite painful too. And I think for those people who are newly grieving, whether that's a death or the end of a relationship or even freedom, there's this reflection point that can be quite challenging when you look back at what you've lost or how you've lost yourself or who you are now. And although Christmas can be a joyous time of year, it can be really, really difficult. And I know a lot of you said from my last video that, oh, Christmas is the most wonderful day and it's hard to think about these things. And it is hard to think about these things. And if you find Christmas wonderful and joyful, that's great. But I think there's a real other side to this, and this year more than ever, every client I've spoke to is exhausted and just trying to get to the finish line of Christmas. Every client this year is stripping back, cutting back, trying not to buy so many presents because they're worried about money. And there's a lot of pressure that comes with Christmas. So yes, it is the most wonderful time of the year in many ways for many people, but not everyone's in that camp. So I guess I want to give a few tips for getting through Christmas Day by yourself. Don't be scared of feeling all your feelings. So in other words, don't put expectations on yourself to be really happy because it's your first Christmas alone and you should feel like this, or to feel really sad if you don't. It's okay to sit with whatever feelings that come and let them come. I think put one thing in the calendar that day to be active, whether that's a walk, a jog, exercise, or, you know, dancing, whatever you like, just to have that bit of a moment where you're not sitting and reflecting. Fill it full of something you enjoy and like. Crafting, nice food, a drink, whatever's comfortable. Arrange some form of connection, even if that's just texting a neighbour, a friend, to say Merry Christmas and receiving one back. And then I think number 5 for me is not getting lost in the day. It is just a day, and you can choose to celebrate all of Christmas or none of Christmas. There is no mandatory way to celebrate and get through this. So I'm thinking of everyone this Christmas that is struggling. That might not be because you're alone, but it might be because you're alone. And there are places you can go. There are local churches to me, and I'm sure all over the country, that are providing a Christmas lunch. The Salvation Army often has centres that are open. There are helplines like Shout and the Samaritans that are there to listen if you're really struggling. And don't get lost in social media. I know there's this amazing portrayal of this perfect Christmas with the million presents under the tree and everyone on the big long table singing Christmas carols and it being perfect. But remember, that's a window into a brief second of time where a photo's been taken. You don't get to see what happens before or after that. You don't get to see what's happening for people on the inside. So I guess my biggest thing is to look after yourself, however that looks. And if you're struggling before or after, please reach out for support, because there's many people out there who want to help you. I hope this video has been informative for some and normalising things for others. I will put those numbers on the end of this video, and next week I will jump on briefly to do a video surrounding by coping with trauma at Christmas, and I'll give an update on availability. But thank you for watching, and I will see you again. Bye.